So good morning, friends. So this is about CCA changes and the impact on the course. I hope you guys can see me on the YouTube live session. We'll wait for a minute before we start. And as you guys know, typically at this time I create sessions as backup for live audience. So this is also for them so that they are up to date with the changes in the curriculum. Okay, so I might not be able to answer to your questions on the live chat, but if most of your questions will be answered because I will be handling questions on the WebEx session. So let me start the WebEx session. Already I started. I just have to dial in. Hello guys, can you see my screen and can you hear me? Whoever is on WebEx. Okay, thank you, Rauf. So today we will be primarily focusing on the changes to the curriculum. We will not get into details. As part of our regular course, we will not be covering the main topics. Instead, we will be primarily focusing on CCA because most of you guys are actually preparing for the CCA certification. Okay. So let me take certain actions here. So now let us get into the details. This will be 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and tomorrow there will be no session because as per the changes, I have to work on some content. So we will resume either on Monday or Tuesday. If Monday is holiday for you guys, we'll start on Tuesday, or we will catch up on Monday. So this is the main blog. I'm copy pasting this blog in both YouTube Live as well as in the WebEx chat. Okay, so you can use it for your reference. Even this video is part of that blog. Okay, so let us understand what are the changes. Okay, so let me go to the official CCA page. So I'm searching for CCA Spark and Hadoop developer, and here I'm taking to Cloudera website. And first, let us start with this. We will see what we will go through each and every detail and see if there are any differences. So earlier, as part of the number of questions, as far I remember, it used to be 8 to 10 questions. Now they changed to 8 to 12 questions. Typically, they might ask 10 questions. I do not remember exactly. And time limit is 120 minutes. There is no change in that. Passing score is 70%. There is no change in that. And language is primarily English. And the price is, there is no change in the price. And then when it comes to exam question format, there is not much changes. Recently, they have added this, saying that template will be provided in some cases, often, and it will be either written in Scala or Python. But you don't need to require to use template. If you want, you can use template. Otherwise, you just write the program with the language you prefer. And all these things are same. There are no changes. And one of the main thing which you need to focus is this link. And if you click on this link, it will take to the Cloudera developer training for Spark and Hadoop. Okay, so it is their course. I'm trying to get the same content. I'm trying to get the same content on my platform, and you see there is a PDF here. I have already downloaded it, and I'm opening the PDF, which will give us. So this is the PDF, which will give us the curriculum. Okay, and if you see here, this is just introduction to Apache Hadoop and the Hadoop ecosystem, which is already covered as part of our course. Apache Hadoop file storage, this is also covered. Data processing on an Apache Hadoop cluster, Yarn architecture and working with Yarn, this is also covered. Importing relational data with Apache Scoop, this is also covered. Spark basics, working with RDD, aggregating with RDD, writing and running the Spark applications, and configure Apache Spark applications, parallel processing in Apache Spark, okay, RDD persistence, common patterns in Apache Spark data processing, this I haven't covered, and it is not very important for the certification. So here they are only talking about some of the use cases. And then data frames and Spark SQL, which is covered extensively. So this actually constitutes of 80% of or even more of the certification, which is being covered as part of our current course. And also we have Flume. So this will constitute around 3 to 4%. So up to 85 to 90% will be covered even with our natural flow without making any changes to the course. So what are the additional things which I need to cover? Is it with everyone? Is my voice clear to everyone or no? Hello? Okay, just give me a moment. I know what the problem is. Thank you very much for writing the issue. How is it now? Is it better? Hello? Okay, thank you. So what I'm trying to say is, if you try to match our curriculum, what I'm covering, and the Cloudera official developer course training, it matches almost 85%. The only thing that are missing is Spark streaming, and then Kafka. So I will be working with Ravindra to figure out a couple of use cases and get up to speed on Kafka and Spark streaming as quickly as possible. So this is slight modification to our flow. So I will continue on PySpark, and probably Kafka and Spark streaming, it will take around 3 to 4 hours extra. So I will spend that time. Once the PySpark is done, we will cover Spark streaming, Kafka, Flume, etc. So that we are 100% covered with the curriculum. So this is primarily the curriculum for the developer training, which is suggested for the certification. And now I'm going into the actual differences. So if you look at this required skills, so the format of publishing the details is similar to earlier. There are high-level categories, and then within each category there are several learning objectives. Earlier we used to have only data ingest, transform, stage, and store, data analysis, only 3. Now they have added one more called configuration. Okay, so now we will get into each of these main categories and see what are the differences. So if you recollect, from Scoop perspective, these 3 are the things. It was there earlier also, even now it's the same thing. There are no differences with respect to Scoop curriculum at all. And then loading data into and out of HDFS using the Hadoop file system, this is also, there are no differences. I'm streaming it to YouTube Live, so you can actually watch in YouTube Live. Okay, I'm not recording this one, and this is only 30 minutes to 45 minutes session. I will provide you the link for YouTube Live session. Okay, in the chat. Okay, so you can watch in YouTube Live afterwards. So let me go to the details. So from HDFS commands perspective, it's the same thing. You should actually know copy from local, copy to local, put or get, put and get, and then mkdir. If you have to create the directories, you should know how to check the permissions using -ls command. These are the main important commands which they are talking about. And then for data ingestion, apart from Scoop, they used to have only Flume, and it is mentioned. They have mentioned that with only one statement saying ingest real-time and near real-time streaming data into HDFS. Now they have added one more. So this is the major difference between the earlier details published as part of the certification and the new details. Process streaming data as it is loaded onto the cluster. So even though it's just one statement, it means a lot. It's primarily talking about Kafka as well as Spark streaming on top of Flume. Okay, but that being said, it might not alter too much about your preparation. So even though now they have included Kafka and Spark streaming as part of this, this is only one part of this data ingest section. So if you logically think, probably they might give 1 or 2 questions in the exam if they give. Okay, so we'll come back to that again. And then transform, stage, and store. Earlier, this used to be purely Spark section, and then data analysis used to be Hive, Impala, and Avro. Okay, now both transform, stage, store as well as data analysis, along with the new one, all these 3 sections are purely Spark based. Okay, and even in this process streaming is also related to Spark. So that's why I mentioned as part of this, more Spark and less Hadoop, no Hive or Impala. And they have included Spark SQL and streaming. And also when it comes to version, it's Spark 1.6.x, which will be given to you to complete the questions. Okay, so now if you go here, and if you see earlier, they used to say load and write data from HDFS and Spark RDD as part of one statement. Now they have differentiated. They have given load RDD from HDFS and then write the results from an RDD back into HDFS, which means that you should explore. And the third statement is significant. They are saying read and write files in a variety of file formats. So we have predominantly seen only text file. We didn't check other file formats. Now, because they have explicitly say that read and write files in a variety of file formats, and also if you go through the curriculum, okay, here as part of Apache Hadoop file storage, they are talking about Apache Hadoop file formats. Okay, because this is highlighted here as well as here, that means we should know how to use other HDFS related file formats on top of text file input format in HD. So what I'm trying to say is there is a package called org.apache.hadoop.mapreduce.lib.input. Okay, as well as output. So rather than this, let me just say Apache Hadoop API. If you go to API and search for file input format, okay, so you know there is a old API. I have mentioned as part of the course somewhere. You might be able to recollect, or you might have forgot. So after org.apache Hadoop, if it says MapRed, that means it's old API. If it says MapReduce, that means it's a new API. Okay, and if you look into both of these things, there are several classes which are available to you, like combined file input format, fixed length input format, key value text input format, inline input format, sequence file input format, text input format. And also there are counterparties for output format. Input formats are typically to read the data, and output formats are typically to write the data. So we have to spend some time to use different file formats because they have explicitly mentioned about reading and writing files in a variety of file formats. And then perform standard extract, transform, load processes on data, which means you just need to understand core transformations and API. Again, if you go back to the course curriculum which they have published, so here you see working with RDD, aggregating data with paired RDDs, and few other things. So they are primarily talking about join, if you want to join the data, aggregate by key or reduce by key to aggregate the data, group by key if you want to do by key sorting or ranking, global sorting and ranking using sort by key. So whatever we have covered predominantly as part of Scala and Spark workshop, that will fall under this perform standard extract, transform, load, process on data. And then data analysis is the major one where there are significant changes made. Earlier, it used to have Hive, Impala, as well as Avro tools. Now they dumped all those things, and they are primarily focusing on Spark SQL. Okay, and as part of Spark SQL, you should be able to use Metastore tables as an input source or an output sink for Spark applications. Means they will give the tables, you just need to use those tables and then read and write data into those tables, which I have covered almost everything except how to insert the data and how to insert the data. Everything else is covered. Okay, we have seen data frame operations, we have seen running SQL in Spark native context, we have seen running SQL in Hive context. So this is about running SQL in Hive context. And then understand the fundamentals of querying datasets in Spark, filter data using Spark, write queries that calculate aggregate statistics, joining disparate datasets using Spark, and produce ranked or sorted data. So the difference between this one, even in this one, you will get all these things, but here it is all about core Spark APIs, and here it's more about Spark SQL. Okay, and these are the main differences between the old between the details published earlier when the test is conducted using 1.2, and this test with 1.6 will be released very soon. I will share those details in a moment. And then finally the configuration. So configuration is all about, they have given an example here about how to change the memory of executors, number of executors. All those things will come under changing configurations while submitting the job, and this is the new thing added. So it might not be a separate question, but they might ask for some of the questions, increase the memory to certain size, and you should know what parameter you should use while running the script to increase the memory. Okay, so that being said, whatever we have covered as part of the Scala and Spark workshop, most of it is relevant to the certification. Only difference is I miss few things. One is Spark streaming, and the other one is I didn't emphasize a lot on file formats, but I will spend another 1 hour or so on just talking about file formats. And then as and when we are ready with material on streaming along with Kafka, we'll conduct a session, 1 or 2 sessions on that, and then you are good to go. 1 minute, okay? So sorry for the distraction. My elder kid have fever, so I have to take the call. That's fine. So we'll proceed. So good news is we have already covered 85% of the curriculum. And also earlier there used to be a question that the test is conducted on 1.2, but the cluster have 1.6. Now the test is also conducted on 1.6. So our environment, which is labs.itversity.com, is ideal candidate to prepare for the certification, ideal environment to prepare for the certification. And to get the details about which version of CDH they will give and all, you can scroll down. And these things did not change much except for the versions and they are giving or they are using at the time of certification. Okay, so you will be getting a 5.10.0 Cloudera version in which 1.6 Spark will be there, and you will be provided with Spark 1.6 documentation, and we have been using that to prepare. Okay, and also you will get IntelliJ IDEA, Sublime, Eclipse, and all those things. As I have explained, you have to do the remote desktop, and from there you have to develop the programs and submit on the cluster. Okay, so which we have been doing for some time. And other tools such as Impala, Hive are not highly relevant anymore. Hive is little bit relevant, but you don't need to worry much about it. Okay, And coming back to how the questions might be given, means the weightage. So they said 8 to 12 questions. Most likely they might give 2 to 3 questions on Scoop, 1 or 2 questions on Flume, Kafka, as well as Spark streaming. Everything together, there could be 1 or 2 questions, and rest of the questions are primarily on Spark. Few of them on Spark SQL, few of them on core API. Uh, okay, so and I'm not sure they might create a dependency between multiple questions. If that is the case, you have to be a little bit extra careful, because if one question goes wrong, it might end up in a situation where other questions also go wrong. So you have to be a little bit extremely careful to watch if there is a dependency between the questions. Okay, and to get more details about these changes, in discuss.itversity.com, there is a topic created by Cloudera employee itself. So let me open that. Is it not clear to everyone or only to Ravindra? How is it for you, rest of the folks? Hello? Are you able to hear me clearly? Okay, I am connected through wired only. Let me figure out. Just give me a moment. Let me first search, and then I will figure out. Okay. Everything is same. I didn't change anything. How is it now? Is it better, or is it still bad? Okay. Okay. Now. Yeah. I'll go ahead. So he actually posted, and let me how to get his posts. Anyway, let me see. I think, yeah, I know how to get to it. So there is a category called certifications. Mostly this guy will post in certifications. Yeah. So this is the one. CCA 175 required skills and cluster updates. It is actually started by official Cloudera employee himself. And okay. So let me check. The internet speed is good. I don't know why it is breaking. Anyway, you will the video will be streamed, and most likely YouTube will actually fix all these issues. They will. It's pretty good to perform the noise control and all those things. So let us see. If required, we will see again. Yeah, the signal is not bad. It's actually 12 Mbps. So I don't know why it is breaking. Anyway, let me show this. So this is the topic which you can follow, and you can ask questions to the Cloudera guy. Okay, and here you can see that an update was made. So this is the link which I have shown you, and then you can see that the cluster has been updated to CDH 5.10. The release of the data analyst. So if you want to be focused on Hive and creating tables, etc., it is data analyst certification which you need to give. But for developer, CCA, Spark, and Hadoop developer, and they are primarily making it more Spark oriented. Okay, and exams taking in the next few days will still get the old exam and cluster, but this is a notification of changes for later this week. Okay, so probably you might get a notification later this week about about permanent change in the test. Okay, so if you go to Cloudera community website, uh, some places they mentioned that from April it will be new format. Before that, it will be old format. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll wrap up and we'll catch up on Monday or Tuesday, depending upon whether you guys have holiday for Holi or not. Meanwhile, we will try to prepare the material for Kafka and Spark streaming, and we will try to be ready by the time we are finished with PySpark. Any questions here in WebEx? So to conclude, 85% of the topics are already covered. Only thing is we just have to focus on Kafka and Spark streaming. Flume anyway is in the plan, so we will get that also. But Spark streaming and Kafka is the only thing that is missing, which I was not planning to cover, but now you will get that also very soon. And you can go to this blog, and this is the latest playlist, which is an ongoing course. So people who are not part of this 10:30 to 12:30 session, you guys can follow this playlist, and the entire content will be ready in 2 to 3 weeks with respect to CCA, Spark, and Hadoop developer. And this is a temporary placeholder. I will create a completely new course probably within 2 months. Until then, you can just follow this one. This is primarily for YouTube Live folks and also the folks who are not part of this morning 10:30 to 12:30 session. So there are few questions on YouTube Live. Let me take this because no questions from WebEx. Okay, someone is asking, please share the link. So the blog link is this one. And the discuss.itversity.com link is this one. Okay, so these are the two links, and the blog link have the playlist for the current course, which will be covered, which will cover the entire certification content. Mohammed Nawaz is asking, by March 23rd will be new format or old? You have to confirm with Cloudera folks because March 23rd is not very far, so it will be better to talk with them. And then Santosh is asking, if I schedule my exam in March, will it be old or new? That also you need to confirm with Cloudera. But I will recommend to take the new exam because the curriculum is too good. You have Spark SQL and data frames, and also you have a Spark streaming, Kafka, etc. So if someone asks me, I will recommend to go with the new format because it is much better and much relevant for the current trend. P. Kumar is asking, do we have any information on from which date this would be effective? No accurate information. You have to follow with Cloudera. Pradeep, you also have to check with Cloudera folks to get the official confirmation. So Mohsin is asking anything related to for admin stuff. Not at this time. Means there is content on administrator already as part of my website and YouTube channel. I don't want to discuss too much about admin stuff because it is out of context. So Dheeraj is asking, instead of data frame, can we use dataset in exam? So I will give the official response from Cloudera. So this is what Cloudera have mentioned to the similar question. Okay, so yeah, questions typically follow business requirements such as what hotels exist in Florida. They typically do not specify any approach that you must follow. So there will never be a reference to data frames or datasets or Hive contexts. It's up to you. Whatever is relevant for that question, if there are multiple ways to tackle that problem, you can use all the multiple ways. Approach is never graded on the Cloudera exam, only the results. So you don't need to worry about how you have developed. If you can solve all of these problems in PIG, then you can use that on the Spark exam also. So there is no hard and fast rule that even to use Spark, but better to use Spark because Pig is relatively outdated. But in general, the answer to your question is yes, there are questions that may require you to use data frames or Hive context to solve if you are writing Spark code. Okay, so I hope this answers your question. Dheeraj, that is for you. So any more questions in WebEx? Ravindra, do you have any questions? So I thought of sitting with you after this session, Ravindra, but I might have to go back to home. I have explored certain things, and I will share the details with you. I will make sure you are up to speed, and then we will take it from there. We will see how far we can go by Monday on it. Okay. So Tambi is asking, please tell us, do we need to learn both Scala and Python, or either one of them is enough? Means I will ping you whenever I am available. I will ping you. If you are available at the time, we will discuss. But tomorrow morning, I will be definitely available. Okay. So tomorrow morning, there are no plans. So tomorrow morning, I will try to come to office by 8 or 8:30, unless there is some emergency. And from 8:30 to 10:30, from 8:30 to probably 11 a.m., we can sit. I might take breaks in between, but tomorrow will be ideal time. So let me take this question from Tambi. Please tell us, do we need to learn both Scala and Python? So for this also, I will give the official answer from Cloudera itself. I have emphasized quite a few times in the past. So here is the answer. You have to go and read this. What it says is, in some cases, coding is required. In order to speed up development time for Spark questions, a template is often provided, and that template might be either in Scala or Python. But you are not required to use the template and may solve the scenario using a language you prefer. So if you are proficient in Scala, just use Scala to answer all the questions. If you know Python, just improve your Python skills and try to answer all your questions rather than trying to write both the bots. Because if you try to answer some questions in Scala and some questions in Python, then you might make some mistakes. If your mind does not let context switch so fast, you can run into some issues. So data ingestion into Hadoop and any specific tool, again, this is also answered already. If you go to the curriculum, okay, and as part of the curriculum, when it comes to data ingestion, it is either Scoop, if it is getting data from relational databases, or it is Flume, Kafka, and Spark streaming. I don't know whether you are there from the beginning. I have already covered that. Data ingestion into Hadoop is either Scoop for relational databases, and for others, yes, Flume and Kafka. So I will take 2 more questions, and then we'll wrap up for today. And before we wrap up, if you need environment to practice, just sign up on labs.itversity.com. The plans are $15 for 31 days, $35 for 93 days, and $55 for 185 days. Whether you sign up for the lab or not, if you have an environment where you want to practice, if you have any questions, still you can go to discuss.itversity.com and start posting the questions here. And there are army of volunteers who are responding to these questions. And also, if you like this video, please click on the like and share with your friends just by clicking on this. And you can share it on social networking platforms. And this specific topic, please circulate with your friends by liking, commenting, or sharing, so that more and more people are aware and decide whether to give the certification exam immediately or once the upgrade is completely confirmed. Okay. If I have to take the exam, I will postpone and I will give it with new curriculum than the older curriculum. Okay. And that being said, thank you very much, and see you as part of next live session. Thank you. Bye.